You might have a villain living in your backyard. This villain is sneaky, it's silent, and what it is it's nothingness. It's backyard boring. And this is a worldwide villain, a worldwide problem. Fireplaces, when properly done, will give you that destination. It will give you that gathering spot for your family and friends who will now want to be outside and stay outside. So here we go with all of the right fire features and the ways to do them. Enjoy. So with that villain lurking, we're gonna go over all the different fire feature styles that we have available to bring that life to our yards. First of all, we have fireplaces. Now, fireplaces come in all shapes and sizes. This one's more linear, more modern, but you also have the traditional gas and wood burning fireplaces. We have fire pits. Obviously, those come in lots of different shapes and sizes. We're gonna show you in this video all the different ways to bring these fire features to life. But I just want to remind you that we also have fire tables, which are a great anchor typically within a structure itself. So here we go, we're going to show you how to add some life, how to add some destination, how to bring the party to your backyard with fire features. Let's start with this boring space that I'm in right now. It doesn't look very boring to you, does it? And that's because we have this beautiful fireplace that anchors this whole outdoor room. Take a look at the way it looked before. Even though we had a dining table here, nobody ever sat in this area. It wasn't until we created a whole destination with the fireplace as our anchor that it became living, that it brought people into. And obviously with a touch of a button, that life now brings some warmth to the group. Obviously add a movie in the evening hours, and this whole place is where we all want to be, outdoors. So the fire feature is the main magnet in this situation. Now this fireplace here is called the Kalea Bay. This is a 60-inch Kalea Bay. Now it can be turned into a double-sided fireplace very easily by punching out that back wall. Let me show you some examples of what this looks like as a double-sided feature and how you could use the Kalea Bay as an anchor in your outdoor space. So from a very linear fireplace to a more traditional look at the way these projects looked before. They were just blank spaces, right? They were very blank and boring. But we added some life to them by adding the fireplace. Both of these projects feature a fireplace with a cover. One was a freestanding structure, one was an attached structure, but the fireplace again was the anchor and brought the life to that room. So when you're designing your outdoor living space, the fireplace has to be very well thought out. If it is a cover, it could be at the end of a structure. I usually tell people this, be cautious about putting a fireplace at an angle. If you can imagine that angle of a fireplace, that's almost what people go to naturally. So I don't want you to make that common mistake and put it at an angle, because then it messes up the whole interior of the room. Now you don't need to have a cover to get a fireplace. There's so many different styles out there. It's linear, modern, but it's not covered, it's just open air. You can also see it here as a wood burning fireplace, a very traditional fireplace. It didn't have a cover. So remember, when you're thinking through the fireplaces, always start with a good design. I'm just gonna always remind you that without the design, the yard has the potential of staying boring because you're putting things in the wrong spots. All right, so fireplaces are an amazing option for our outdoor living spaces to bring that life, to bring that energy, to bring the people to the space. Fire pits are also another amazing one at a much lower price level. Now remember, a fire pit brings that nostalgia, that old camping trip that you had when you were young, or maybe you had it with the kids and they love the feeling of telling stories around the fire pit. Now fire pits themselves comes in all different shapes and sizes. Take a look at this space before we did anything, and look at what we did to create this beautiful destination with a round fire pit. We added in some Adirondack chairs with a patio, and now they had a beautiful destination that the family loved to spend time in. Or take a look at this property. We did a square fire pit, and we just did a seat wall. Now the thing about this property is that seat wall acted as an elevation change, so we were able to retain behind it, and then we had this beautiful fire pit destination. Now take a look at this rectangular fire pit that we put in a corner, another very boring space before. Take a look at the way it looked before, in fact, which is lawn. And now they have an amazing outdoor space that attracts so many people. Now again, this fire pit featured a seat wall and it had a backrest with a slight incline. add some cushions to that, and now it's so much room for people to gather around. Now, a great thing that we can do with fire pits is create sunken fire pit destinations. I love doing this, especially on properties that have elevation change. So remember that if you have any elevation change, in fact, even if you have a boring flat backyard, sometimes I would add elevation change just because it's so stagnant. Now, these sunken fire pits really do add a dramatic destination. You get pulled out because you wonder what's around the corner or what's down in that sunken area. And you can also do seating all around it. So everybody has a spot. It's very comfortable. You can build in some tables too to the ends, and what a gorgeous destination you have. The family loved it. They took pictures here. Take a look at how cute this family looked using this space. Now take a look at this fire pit destination that we did. It was also sunken down. We didn't keep the shape of the seating area regular. We did a little irregular shape around it, and look at the beautiful fire pit that we created. With 2 sono tubes with concrete rounded there, we built a fire table in the middle of that. What a gorgeous custom fire pit this was. Obviously, it attracts family and friends alike. Now, another way to do a custom fire pit is to add a reflection wall to it. This is a kind of a modern twist to a very old school way of doing an outdoor living space. So a beautiful fire pit with reflection wall usually is used at the edge of a structure or the edge of a property. Now, the reason you do this is just because it's cool. You can put a TV on it, just like you see here, but it is a less expensive way than doing a traditional fireplace. So you could always consider the fire pit with the reflection wall. Now, in this one, we did it with modern board formed concrete. So it looks very nice. You have the concrete, but it adds that texture, so it gets the modern vibe with some wood elements in there as well. Now, really, I just want to remind you, don't try to do this without a really well thought through design. Again, we design in 3D, so you're going to see the whole space. And a lot of times we are doing multiple fire features. So it could be a fireplace with its own destination and a fire pit, but you do use the two a little bit different. So again, we design in full 3D. You can see the completed space, including all the fire features, and make sure you like it before you start building. That will save you thousands of dollars, by the way. Now, since we are talking about fireplaces, I did want to let you know about this feature again. It's the Kalea Bay. I have it at my own house. I love it. Flip a switch, turn it on. You can see how easy the lighting is. You can see how beautiful this is as an anchor of your outdoor living space. So I would strongly consider the Kalea Bay fireplace for your outdoor living fireplace. So as you're doing your remodel or as you're thinking about it, think strongly about adding the Kalea Bay. I do stand behind this product. I do love the fact that you can buy one fireplace, and this fireplace can act also as a double-sided fireplace. Very convenient and very great for adding another destination to your outdoor living space. So as you're considering the Kalea Bay, I love it. Easy flip of a switch, comes with all of the colors that you're looking for, and you can do it on high, you can do it on low. It puts great heat output, but I also just love the designer feel of the Kalea Bay and how nice it anchors a space in your outdoor living. So I'll have a link below to the Kalea Bay. If you have any questions, I'd also love to talk to you about it. All right, another fire pit that I really like is the Loom Surround. You can see it here. These are very popular. They're basically a no smoke type of a wood burning fire pit. Now, you might have seen these. They're also called solo stoves and other brands, but you want something that's gonna attract you out with beauty too. So the solo stove to me it isn't the most attractive. So I really do like the Loom in this situation, and it does the exact same thing. It's smokeless, and you'll love this fire pit, not only for the looks, but for the enjoyment that it brings to the family. Now take a look at what this property looked like before we added a fire feature. It was a blah, ugly space. But now take a look at what a fire table did. So we added this beautiful bar in the middle of their outdoor kitchen structure, and at the end of it, we added a fire feature. Very simple fire ring that we put in here. Very simple to build. I'd love to help you with this. If you have any questions, let's talk, link below. But gorgeous fire table. Now this family in particular absolutely loved it. This was pretty much on every night because they were outdoor cooking. And the nice thing about this was one of 3 fire features that the client had. They had a fireplace, an outdoor fireplace. They had a sunken fire pit, which is gorgeous. And they added a fire table here in their bar. So remember, you can do all of these, and it does create different purposes for different parts of the outdoor living space. So let me quickly discuss the mediums, either wood burning or gas. A lot of people like the gas ones just because they're very convenient. You literally push a button, you could turn it on the lights, and it starts right up. Another one of the conveniences that I like about gas fireplaces or gas fire in general is you don't have the wood burning smell when you go to sleep at night. This is something that drove my wife crazy personally. We did install a wood burning fire pit, but I added a gas line for a log lighter. And after a few weeks, she says it's too much smoke smell because she'd have to take a shower before we went to bed. So remember that classic wood burning vibe is amazing. You're gonna get amazing heat from a wood burning feature. It could be a fireplace or a fire pit. But some people, and me included, I absolutely love that connection that I have with the memories of camping when I was young and the smells, and it's okay. So it's a personal choice. What material do you think would be best for you and your family and your friends, wood burning or gas? Now let's take a look at how many villains we've conquered in backyard living by turning boring backyards into amazing destinations using fire features. Here we go, and I want you to remember this as I show you these. Fire features aren't just about creating destination, it's the feelings and the memories that you're creating behind them. So I'll have a link below to the Kalea Bay Fireplace. I'd also have a link below of how you can book a free call with me. If you have any questions about the Kalea Bay or any design feature, I'd love to be able to help you out with that.